So we're in the Azure portal. If you haven't seen it before, here it is now. What we're gonna do is we're gonna create a brand new storage account. So I'm gonna go in and create a resource and learn how to type today. And it might give me a storage account. There we go. Right, we're gonna create an Azure storage account. So remember, this storage account is just that wrapper, and then we can start building some data around that. So I just need to choose my resource group, and I'm gonna move my screen a little bit for everyone to see a little bit better. So I'm deploying a resource group, and I'm gonna give my storage account name. I'm gonna call it SharePoint EU. Oh, can only contain lowercase numbers. I do that every time. Give it a unique name, and I'm going to actually spin this up in Europe because we are in, well, you guys are in Europe. I'm sitting here in the UK. But we'll go ahead and go West Europe. And now we have the option here for performance, standard or premium. Now, standard is going to be absolutely sufficient for what we do, and then the premium performance gives us if we have low latency requirements. So all these data types I just spoke about, we have the zone redundant storage, geo redundant storage, local redundant, and then geo zone redundant. So when you choose any kind of storage account, and it will depend on the region. So if I were to pick another region, maybe the UK, or maybe I'm doing something in another country like South America, each data center region has different capabilities. So that will change. So while I talk about the zone redundant, GRS, read-only GRS, and LRS, because those are available globally, when you start getting into really higher requirements, that will depend on the data center. Now, West Europe is kind of the hero region outside the US. So yes, lots of things go to the US first. West Europe is the next place where all the new stuff comes out. So we tend to see that stuff all the time. So I've spun up my my storage container effectively, my storage account. And then we're actually gonna go create some storage together. I can go in and create a file share here on the left side. So I'm gonna create a file share. Actually, no, I'm sorry, I'm not. I'm gonna create a container. I'm gonna give a blob container, okay? So I'm just gonna call it blob. I can, change the access here, how we wanna do it, give advanced settings, all sorts of security bits built in, and we can do some other stuff with it. So if I go into this blob storage here, this blob container, I can start uploading stuff to it. The other thing I can do is I can take snapshots of it, create snapshots of my data, which is really cool. So in my blob storage, actually, I'm going to create a file share because I want to show you guys something really cool. We're just going to call it files. Here, I'm going to set a 1 gig quota on my data. So let's say that you're asked to spin up some data for something, for somewhere in the organization. It's very common that we're not always told how much data we actually need. So I'm going to create this. Okay, I've created a file share. All right, it's 1 gig in data. And that's great, but maybe the team comes back and says, you know what, we need to do something different. Of course we do. How many times do we do a project and the scope changes or we get more information? So I've put in a gig of data, right? That's spun up pretty quickly. Actually, I need a terabyte. So in a matter of seconds, I've gone from a gig of data here to a terabyte, and I can easily change that. The other thing I can do is I can connect to my data source. I mentioned before that Windows, Linux, and Mac operating systems are supported. So, there are different authentication mechanisms we can use, whether it be Active Directory or storage account keys, and we can do that. But what's really cool is I want to connect to my Windows box. I'm given the PowerShell script to run. So if you have things automated in your environment that say, like your file shares for your users, maybe an H drive, like a home drive or a P drive personal, however your organization does it, you can use these scripts. Now, let's say I have users running Linux boxes or Mac. I can go there and automate this and say, right, you'll connect to these file shares using this script. Obviously, they're not going to run it. You're going to run it for them, maybe through GPO or what have you. So we have a really easy way here to do this. So we've created our storage account, okay? We've created a file share. We've changed the size of that file share, and I've showed you how you can connect to it, all right? And there's a few different ways to do that, but I want to show you something really cool. So let's have another scenario here. Okay, we've created our file share, and that's great, but actually our companies come to us and said, we need a website. We're running an event. Maybe SharePoint Europe is like, hey, we're going to run another event. We need somewhere to host it. And they've selected you. Awesome. Where are you going to put that website? So let's think this through. We have virtual machines. That's cool. But that means spinning up a virtual machine, We got to manage the operating system. We have to patch it. We have to harden it. Maybe we have a gold image, maybe we don't. Okay, that's a thought. We have an Azure web app, which is serverless, meaning we don't have to manage that operating system. That's cool. But it's just a website, and we just need to maintain a website, and it's a static website. So we're going to do this a different way. We're going to do this from Azure Storage because they need this quickly. They actually probably needed it yesterday. As all projects go in the IT world, we needed it yesterday. So I want to create what's called a static website. All right. So I'm in my storage account, SharePoint EU 2021. I'm going to go down here to the static website. I'm going to enable it. Now, I'm going to just give it index.document HTML. Okay. So my development team's giving me the code and they said, we need somewhere to put it. Okay, cool. So I'm going to create the static website. I'm just going to create this path and I can save it. And I've created a static website and it gives me an endpoint, okay? So this is my endpoint. I'm gonna go to my endpoint. Oh, well, we don't have any code in it, do we? But that's okay. So whether you're a developer or not, there's a few ways we can do this. We wanna get our code in there. So we've just created a static website in a matter of seconds. Instead of spinning up an infrastructure and everything else, this is all included in our storage account. I wanna go to, again, I work a lot in Visual Studio Code. But I've been given my code. So whether you're in like just a normal file share, you can use Azure Storage Explorer and get your code up there. But this is the code I was given for my developers that needs to be the website. Like, yes, someone developed the code. This is great. There's a fantastic plugin in Visual Studio Code where I can go into, and I have this great option here under storage to deploy to a static website in storage. So I just created that website, but I want to upload our code because maybe I don't know what to do with the code. That's also very possible. So yeah, I'm going to actually go, let's do it this way. Upload it. I choose the file. So this is the folder where my files are sitting. Again, we can do this from Azure Storage Explorer. We can do this in a few different ways, but I'm going to choose my subscription. And I'm going to use a storage account that I've created. I should be able to, oh, it's not seeing the one I just did. Well, that's no fun. I can create a new storage account and I can, looks like I broke VS Code. All right, let's try this again. This is what I get for doing demos on the fly, live. So I need to refresh my VS Code. That's on me. Let's see if we can do this again and see if it will work. Again, you can do this from Azure Storage Explorer or a few other places as well. You can just upload the files effectively. That's all I'm doing. There we go. It sees it. Cool. It sees that storage account, SharePoint EU, right? It's uploading my files to the storage account for me. And as it's deploying it, deployment complete, and it gives me the endpoint here, okay? And I can click browse to my website. There we go, have my website. So walk you through what we just did. We already had a storage account. Again, we can create a new one and we can upload that code. So I use VS Code. It's something I could hand my developers and they could do. And I have the website up and running now.